So you're new to crypto and you're wondering what MetaMask is, how it works, or even if it's safe to use in 2025? Well, in this video, I'll break down exactly what MetaMask is, how to use it step by step, the risks you need to be aware of when using it, and why it's one of the most popular crypto wallets out there. By the end, you'll know how to set up MetaMask, how to send and receive crypto, how to swap to various different tokens, and how to avoid some common mistakes that beginners make. Hey, what's up, peeps? It's your boy Marcel, aka Smokecalm. I hope you're doing well. Today, I'm wearing the Mood Swatch Mission to Jupiter because it's the only watch that I have with some orange accents in there that like throw back to the MetaMask Fox, their logo. And I'm only going to ask one thing of you guys during this whole video. It's that if you're starting to get into DeFi and using these decentralized wallets, it's that you consider subscribing to the channel, because this is going to be none other than the first video in a whole series of tutorials to get you started in crypto. So first of all, we want to know, what is MetaMask? Well, in layman's terms, MetaMask is what we call a self-custody wallet that is a browser extension and a mobile app. It's going to let you send, store, receive, and interact with cryptocurrencies and decentralized apps, or dApps for short. It's mostly used on the Ethereum network, but it also supports other blockchains such as Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Arbitrum, Base, and many more. Now let's talk about what MetaMask is not. MetaMask is not a bank, it's not a centralized exchange, which means it's not a place where someone else holds your assets for you. You're going to be 100% responsible for your own cryptocurrencies when using MetaMask, and that's what we call a self-custody wallet. Okay, Smolcam, but what is self-custody? Well, it's quite the opposite of a bank, because when you have money in the bank, sure, it's your money, but who's holding it? The bank, right? Whereas with a wallet like MetaMask, you hold the private keys, the things that give you access to that money. You're actually holding that money yourself. That means that you're in total control of your assets, which is a great thing, which is what we want in crypto, because there's a saying, not your keys, not your crypto. But that's a double-sided sword, because it also means that if you lose your recovery phrase, there's no forgot password button. No one's going to be able to recover that wallet or that cryptocurrency that was held in that wallet for you. I'll run you through a full setup in a minute, but what I want you to remember over everything is to never store your seed phrase anyway that's digital. Don't store it on your phone. Don't store it on your computer. Don't store it on your Google Drive. Don't store it on your email, because if any of those get hacked, consider your cryptocurrency gone. Now, obviously, with having self-custody, it's a huge bonus. You can do way more things with your money, but there's also some risks involved. Some of the risks you might encounter could be what we call phishing scams, where a fake website or a fake email will actually try to get you to click on a URL or claim their support in some way and ask for your secret recovery phrase. At no point ever you should share that secret recovery phrase with anyone. If they claim to be support, that's a scam. Another risk you might encounter are malicious dApps, malicious decentralized apps. So always keep in mind to never interact with those if you don't know exactly what they are. Always double check the URL at the top of your browser to make sure that you're on the correct website. And if you don't understand a transaction, just don't approve it. Another one could simply be loss of access, meaning you forgot your password or you didn't store your secret recovery phrase. I think those are basically, when you start out, the three biggest risks that you'll encounter while using MetaMask. Okay, now let's switch over to why you would want to use MetaMask, why it would be a better option than just holding your cryptocurrency on an exchange. Well, MetaMask is going to be your gateway to decentralized finance, liquidity pools, marketplaces like OpenSea, where you can actually go ahead and buy NFTs and even sell NFTs, blockchain games, token swaps with no centralized exchange, meaning no middleman, new ecosystems beyond just Ethereum, and it gives you full control of your assets if you're ready for that responsibility. Let's talk about the main networks that you might encounter while using MetaMask. By default, when you create a new wallet, you'll have the Ethereum network available, but you're totally free to add other networks manually. Okay, now that you know a little bit more about MetaMask, what the risks are, why you might want to use it, self-custody, etc., I'll show you how to set it up. The first thing you're going to want to do is actually add MetaMask to your browser, or you can download the mobile app, and you can simply type MetaMask on Google. The correct website is metamask.io. Never go to another website, because it might not be the official version. And, well, as we said in the intro, if it's not the correct version, it might be a phishing scam, so you do not want to get involved with that at all. As you can see at the top, the URL is correct, metamask.io. I'm going to go ahead and click on Get MetaMask, and that brings me to the extension page. I'm going to click on Get and Authorize Add Extension. That's going to download something right here. Once it's done downloading, it'll automatically add the extension to your browser. I'm doing this on Edge, but I believe that it's also available on Chrome, maybe Opera GX, etc., etc. As you just saw, once the download finishes, it brings you to this page. You can go ahead and click on Extensions and pin it to your browser if you'd like. The first thing you're going to do is click on I agree to MetaMask's terms of use. And obviously, this is your first time creating a wallet, so you're going to go ahead and click on Create a New Wallet. This, like most apps, is just if you want to help them basically like figure out their stuff, send data their way. I'm just going to go ahead and click on No Thanks. And then you're going to have to create a password. This password will unlock your MetaMask wallet only on this device. MetaMask cannot recover this password. Now, for the purpose of this video, I entered a pretty simple password, and you can see that it's saying weak. For your wallet, you're probably going to want to enter a password with at least 10 characters. Make it a variation of lowercase and uppercase, add some symbols and some numbers in there, basically make it complicated. Then I'm going to click I understand that MetaMask cannot recover this password for me, and go ahead and click on Create a New Wallet. This is going to be the most important step. It says secure your wallet. What is a secret recovery phrase? We went over this previously, but let's just read this out loud. Your secret recovery phrase is a 12-word phrase that is the master key to your wallet and your funds. How do I save it? Write it down and store it in multiple secret places or in a safe deposit box. Should I share my secret recovery phrase? Never, ever share your secret recovery phrase, not even with MetaMask. If someone asks for it, they are likely trying to scam you and steal your wallet funds. Now that we have that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and click on Secure My Wallet. Write down your secret recovery phrase. Now, obviously, there's nothing wrong with writing it down on a piece of paper and keeping it in multiple places, but I would recommend also having one of these, which is going to be none other than a metal storage for your recovery phrase, because some of these are fire and water resistant, meaning let's say eventually you make it big in crypto, you have 100 grand on that wallet, which honestly you probably shouldn't have. You should probably store that on what's called a cold wallet, but at least if your place burns down, you still have that secret recovery phrase because it's engraved in metal and it didn't burn down, or it didn't just get wet and the ink went everywhere. I'll have a link down below to one of these that's pretty good to use. Obviously, make sure nobody is looking. I'm just going to go ahead and click on Reveal Secret Recovery Phrase. Now, I'm showing you the top 3 just to show you that it's various words. I'm blurring out the rest because obviously never share it with anyone. Once you've written these down or engraved them in metal, you can go and click on Next. And here it'll ask you to fill in some of the missing words because they want to make sure that you actually stored it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Word number 3 was sugar. It's asking me for word number 4 and word number 8. Once they're entered and correct, it's going to let me click on Confirm. Congratulations, your wallet is protected and ready to use. You can find your secret recovery phrase in Settings, Security, and Privacy. Keep a reminder of your secret recovery phrase somewhere safe. If you lose it, no one can help you get it back. Even worse, you won't be able to access your wallet ever again. Okay, now I'm going to click on Done. Your MetaMask install is complete. Pin MetaMask on your browser so it's accessible and easy to view. I'm going to click on Next. And we are in. Your balance is aggregated. This reflects the value of all tokens you own on a network. If you prefer seeing this value in ETH or other currencies, go to Settings. So now we have our own wallet. You can see it right here, but if I click on the extension, which is what you'll do most of the time, you can see it also right here. Every time you restart your computer, your wallet will be locked. So I'll show you what that looks like right now. This is what it is. In order to unlock it, you just enter the password you did earlier. Bam. Now, if you forget this password, it's okay, as long as you still have the recovery phrase, because you can simply go ahead and delete the wallet, delete the extension, and then re-import it with your recovery phrase, and that'll ask you to set up a new password. Now, I said earlier it automatically puts you on Ethereum network, Ethereum mainnet, but you can see right here there are additional networks that you can click on add. You can either do this just by clicking on add, or you can go to this website right here and make sure the URL is correct. Remember, always check the URL. This is going to be chainlist.org, which will let you manually add networks. For that, I'm going to click on connect wallet. It's going to open my extension and ask to connect to my wallet. I go ahead and click on connect. Bam. So you can add any of these networks simply by clicking on adding the MetaMask, and that it will pull this up, and then you go ahead and click approve. In our case, I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to add today the Polygon mainnet. So want to add this network, you're adding this network to MetaMask and giving this site permission to use it. I'm going to click on approve. And now you can see here that I've got Polygon mainnet added to my wallet. But what's this? My wallet's empty, so I'm going to need to fund it. In order to do anything like decentralized finance, blockchain games, or selling NFTs, every single time you run a transaction with MetaMask, you will have to pay for what's called gas fees. Those are going to be none other than the blockchain fees. Depending on the network, like Polygon, it could be less than 1 single cent of fees. If you're using Ethereum network, for instance, it could be anywhere from a couple cents to a couple dollars. I'm now on Pionex.us, which is what we call a centralized exchange, a place where you can on-ramp into crypto, meaning either buy crypto with a debit card or with a bank account or a wire transfer. I do prefer the bank account option because, as you can see here, it says 0% deposit fees. And as far as centralized exchanges go, I can recommend Binance, Pionex.us, Pionex.com, and MEXC. I'll have links to all of those down below. What I want today is to get some Polygon on Polygon mainnet. Why? Because I want to get into this Pol/USDT liquidity pool that pays an estimated 76% APR yearly. That's kind of insane, right? Earning 76% on an asset is way more than either keeping it in your bank at 3 to 4% or staking it on a centralized exchange for 2 to 3% maximum. But for that, you're going to need MetaMask. So once we're back on Pionex, I'm going to go ahead and click on trade, spot trading, and I'm going to research the Polygon token. I'm going to click on it right here, and I want to buy some. Now I'm going to click on market because I just wanted to go fast for the purpose of this video, but otherwise I would recommend using limit orders that are lower fees and let you buy at the specific price you want. You can see that I currently hold around $14.16. I'm going to go ahead and buy, let's call it $10.22 of Polygon. I'm going to go ahead and click on buy Pol. At market price, the estimated quantity is 42.69 Pol. Nice. The cost is $10.22, and the transaction fee is 0.0427 Pol. I'm going to go and click on OK. And created successfully. If I now go back to my wallet overview, I can see that I now hold some Polygon. Okay, now how do I move it from Pionex to MetaMask? Well, the first thing to do is go back to my MetaMask. We'll go right here. That way I'll show you the way it'll mostly show up is through the extension. Right here, you can see a string of OX64, etc., etc. It's basically letters and numbers, right? That's what we call a wallet address. So I'm going to go ahead and click on copy to clipboard. Now that I have this address, I'm going to go ahead and click on send crypto. I'm going to make sure to select the correct asset, which is Polygon/Xmatic, and then I'm going to paste the address. Obviously, verify this is correct and never do it from history. Let's say you already sent a couple transactions on MetaMask. It might recommend you an address that you've already used, but that could be part of a phishing scam, what we call a wallet poisoning, where someone fakes a transaction from your wallet, and the end and the beginning of the address will look the same, but it'll be different in the middle. So always remember to actually copy and paste. We're going to want to use all of our balance, which is 48 Pol. You can see there's a transaction fee for sending it of 0.08 Pol. One thing we really want to make sure is that we're on a correct network. Here, Pionex only lets us withdraw on the Matic/Polygon network, which we have right here, right? Always make sure you have the correct withdrawal network, because if not, you risk actually losing that cryptocurrency. Think about it kind of like the network is going to be the postal service and the address is going to be the address to which you want to send the letter. So if the network's the postal service, let's say you want to send a letter to Argentina, but you use like the Norway postal service, it might never get there even if it's the correct address. So always check the network you're sending to. Then I'm going to go ahead and click on submit. Are you sure you want to send your poll? This is the coin, this is the address, this is the quantity. I'm going to click yes, so continue. And then it's going to ask you for two-factor authentication, which most of the time is going to be Google Authenticator and a code you receive by email. Now, I'm not going to show you that, but I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with 2FA nowadays. Once that's done, depending on the cryptocurrency exchange you are using and the blockchain you're sending from, it might take anywhere from 1 minute to maybe an hour. My withdrawal just went through, so as you can see, I've received on Polygon mainnet in account 1, the address we copied earlier, my Polygon. So now that you've actually received your cryptocurrency, let's say you wanted to send it to someone. What you'd do is click the send button. You'd select your account you want to send it from, which you can see right here is pre-selected account 1. You'd enter their public address right here, select the amount of crypto you want to send, and go ahead and click on send. But what we want to do right now is actually use this decentralized app called Uniswap. In order to do so, I'm going to have to connect my MetaMask wallet to the decentralized app. I've made sure it's the correct URL. I've made sure it's not a phishing website. So I'm going to go ahead and click on connect. And here it's going to offer to either get the Uniswap wallet, Uniswap mobile, or right here, as you can see, other wallets. I'm going to click on that and select MetaMask. That's going to open my wallet right here, and it's going to ask to connect account 1, the one with the Polygon in it. I'm going to go ahead and click on connect. And you can see now at the top, it is connected. Now, I want to add liquidity to this pool, which is Polygon and USDT. So if I click on add liquidity, you can see that I actually need 2 different assets. I don't only need Polygon, I also need USDT. I'm going to click on continue. For range. Now, by the way, if you want me to make a video about these liquidity pools, just let me know down below in the comments. And if you do, remember to subscribe to actually be notified when that video goes live. Because if I click max here, you can see I don't have enough USDT, so I'm going to have to swap that. Obviously, I could do so right here on trade and swap, but I want to show you how to do it in MetaMask. So I'm on account 1 right now. I'm going to go ahead and click on swap. And I want to swap some pool for some USDT. Now, the deposit ratio in this pool is going to be 50-50, but remember, you always need to keep some tokens for gas fees. So we have 47.93 tokens. We're just going to go ahead and do 20 pool to USDT. Now it says fetching quote. So MetaMask is going to look on various decentralized exchanges to find the best rate possible for you most of the time, and they do take a little fee. Includes a 0.875% MetaMask fee. That's how they make their money. And here you can see I'll get $4.68 USDT for 20 POL. It also gives me the quote rate, and it gives me the estimated gas fee, that network fee, right? So on Polygon network, the fees are pretty cheap. That's why I choose to use it for today's video. But I'm going to go ahead and click on swap. It's now processing. Your USDT will be added to your account once this transaction has processed. Transaction complete. Your 4.67 USDT has been added to your account. I'm going to click on close. Now, the wallet automatically added USDT as an asset right here. If it doesn't, you'll have to manually add that token. In order to do so, you click these 3 dots right here and click on import token. Now you can either search for tokens, like let's say I wanted to add USDC, and that'll give me the options right here. Or what you can do, which is a way to do it when MetaMask doesn't necessarily know that token, is to go to a website called CoinMarketCap, which is a place that basically shows most of the tokens. You can see pretty much all the different cryptocurrencies. And let's say I wanted to add USDC. I find USDC, click on it. And then right here, you can see a contract address, but that's going to be the address for Ethereum, as you can see the logo right there. So I'm going to click next to add to MetaMask. There's a little arrow. I'll hover that, and then it's going to show me all the available networks with the different contracts for that cryptocurrency on that network. They are different for each network, so make sure you select the correct one. You're going to scroll until you find the network you want. Right here, I can see Polygon, and one way to do it is either copying that contract, going to MetaMask, clicking the three dots, import token, then you click custom token, select the network, you select the network you want it on, and you paste the contract address, and it'll autofill all the information. You click next, and it adds it. Or the simpler way to do it is you come back here, you scroll down to the correct network, which is going to be for us Polygon right here. And I click this little MetaMask logo. And that will simply open my wallet and ask me to add the suggested token. And I can go ahead and click on add token. And now when I open my wallet, you can see that even if I have zero balance of it, it shows up right here. So if you send a token and it doesn't show up in your wallet, make sure that you added it prior to that or do it afterwards. It doesn't matter. It's just that it might necessarily not show as long as you haven't added it. Okay, so now we have some Polygon and some USDT. Under USDT, I'm going to go ahead and click on max, and that's going to give me the amount of Polygon I need to deposit as well. I'm going to go ahead and click on review. It's creating a liquidity position. I'm going to click on create, and that's going to run my first decentralized app transaction. Right here, it's asking for a spending cap request. Simply put, in simple terms, decentralized apps will ask for access for a spending cap. You're basically allowing them to go in your wallet and take that money. So I'm going to click on confirm. That just approved the spending cap. And here you can see that the estimated changes is that I send 19.77 POL and 4.67 USDT, and I receive in exchange a Uniswap position, right? If I didn't receive anything, then I actually be sending and losing those assets. But here, this thing right here, the Uniswap position that I get in exchange, means that I'll have custody as those assets still. I can exchange that Uniswap position back for those assets. I'm going to go ahead and click on confirm. You can see the network fee is going to be 1 cent worth of Polygon. Creating position right here at the top. And position created. So I can now see it right here. I deposited around $9.33 worth of Polygon and USDT, and I'll be earning fees from that throughout the year. As I mentioned previously, these blockchain fees are going to vary from chain to chain, from network to network. If you're using ETH, they'll be more expensive than mostly any other chain. That's just how the network is. Let's say you really wanted to do something with ETH to try to save money. You could use layer 2 solutions like Arbitrum or Base. But I think that's pretty much all the basics you'll need to start using MetaMask in 2025. If you felt like anything was valuable information, or if you learned something, consider subscribing. It helps me out more than you know. And for all the links that I mentioned during this video, they'll all be down below. Now, if you'd like to learn how to generate some passive income, some passive crypto income with a PC or laptop you already have at home, you could go ahead and watch this video about the Tari Universe mining app. And if you don't want to, well, don't click on it. But on that note, it was your boy Marcel, aka Smilkow. I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll catch y'all in another one. Peace.